Hi, it's your fertility goddess Rhonda here again, here to offer you another metaphysical tip and trick to help you improve your metaphysical life. I've had several requests for tutorials on how to raise your psychic awareness. And a lot of times especially in the metaphysical world, we put a lot of emphasis on activating our third eye so that we're more psychically aware. But what happens with that is it's not just about the third eye and being able to visualize or see spirits or see the future or see things. We put a lot of emphasis on seeing, but many of us are not visual. So our dominant psychic sense could be our sense of smell, it could be our sense of hearing, it could be what we feel as empaths, it could be other things than being able to see. So you can activate your third eye, but if you're not paying attention to or attuned to your dominant sense, then you're not even going to be aware of your increased abilities because you're not in touch with the dominant sense that was given to you at birth. Now you can have more than one dominant sense. You can have a dominant sense and a secondary sense. But the first question is, how do we know what our dominant sense is? So if you look under the description portion of the tutorial, I have a short questionnaire for you to complete that's going to help you to determine what your dominant sense is, and then we can start to grow it from there. Because whenever we're trying to raise our psychic abilities, and this is always where I start with my students, is to first get you in touch with your dominant sense, have you start to become aware of it more, which will help it to grow, and then to do exercises that will help you to increase it any more. We always start with the dominant sense, with what works for us, and then we branch out from there. So I'm only going to go over one section of the questionnaire because, you know, I like to keep these things short and sweet so that you can get on with the rest of your day. And it goes something like this. We're asking questions that are going to let us know what your dominant sense is. And a lot of that is revealed in how you communicate. So for example, in our first section of the questionnaire, it says, if you are in a questioning situation, how are you more likely to respond? A, it doesn't smell right to me. B, it doesn't sound right to me. C, it doesn't feel right to me. D, it doesn't look right to me. E, it doesn't taste right to me. And F is, I don't think that's right. So you can already get an idea of how this questionnaire is going to let you know what your dominant sense is. Many psychics have clairgustance, which means they actually taste the answer, or the psychic frequencies come through their sense of taste. Sometimes it will come through what you're hearing or your sense of hearing. Some people can smell perfumes of someone who's already passed over to let them know, or a certain scent that will remind them or their client of something. So by getting in touch with your dominant sense, you can start to increase your psychic awareness. So what I would like for you to do for this week is, after you've completed your survey and determined what your dominant sense is, spend the rest of the week becoming friends with your dominant sense, getting in touch with it, paying attention to it. Now, I don't want you to focus on it, because when we focus on things, it can stop us from actually getting psychic messages and psychic signals because we're too focused on our sense of smell or our sense of hearing or what it is that we're feeling. Just be aware of it so that it'll start to grow, so that you start to attune with it. And then start doing little exercises with yourself. Sit yourself down quietly, create your sacred space, and ask yourself a question while being aware, not focused. being aware of what your dominant sense is, and write down what the answer comes to you to see if the answer springs to mind or you get a psychic message. Or you might want to use a buddy system and have one of your friends think of a question or ask you a question that they know the answer to. And you being aware, not focused, aware of your dominant sense, ask yourself that question and see what answer you come up with. See if you're right. The more you practice at it, the more your dominant sense will grow. And if you work on it just even for a week, by the end of the week, you will already see how much your intuition has grown. So, this has been your fertility goddess, Rhonda, here again to offer you another metaphysical tip and trick to help you improve your metaphysical life. Please share this with a friend. And thank you so much for watching, and please visit my website at www.healinghanagoddess.com, where you can get readings, arrange for custom classes, meditations, lots of great stuff. So thank you again. Namaste.